Look closely at this photograph of the Great Pyramid's face. You are looking at a structure that weighs roughly 6.5 million tons, built from over 2 million individual blocks of stone. Standing at the base of this mountain of limestone, people have historically reached the exact same conclusion. Normal human beings could never have built this. That disbelief has deep roots. 2,000 years after the last stone was placed, the Greek historian Herodotus visited Egypt. He wrote down what locals told him, that the pharaoh used 100,000 slaves, working them to death in a brutal, decades-long forced labor camp. When historical records felt too thin, popular culture stepped in with wilder theories. We started attributing the construction to extraterrestrials, levitation, or highly advanced civilizations. But recent excavations and modern engineering analyses tell a completely different story. The reality is that the pyramids were the result of a highly organized national supply chain. To understand who did the heavy lifting, look at this archaeological excavation site on a sandy hill at the base of the Giza Plateau. This is the footprint of a massive workers' village. Dr. Zahi Hawass, pictured here, led the team that excavated a huge stone boundary they called the Wall of the Crow. It served as a hard dividing line, separating the sacred cemetery from the loud, bustling settlement. Inside that settlement, researchers found animal bones and brewery jars. The people here ate premium beef, fresh fish from the Nile, and drank daily beer rations. They also worked in highly structured rotational shifts. We also know they had access to excellent medical care. Osteological evidence shows their successfully set fractures and amputations that fully healed while the workers were still alive. A disposable slave force does not receive high-protein diets and complex surgeries. These were respected Egyptian citizens participating in a heavily funded, unified national project. Feeding a massive workforce is one problem. The other is figuring out how a Bronze Age society transported millions of tons of quarried stone across the Egyptian landscape. The answer survived in the Diary of Merer. As you can see in these dense vertical columns of hieroglyphics, this ancient papyrus document is a strict, bureaucratic logbook kept by an Egyptian overseer. This animated map visualizes exactly what Merer was writing about. The Egyptians engineered a massive network of man-made canals that tapped directly into the Nile River, creating waterways that flowed right up to the base of the pyramid. Look at the sheer scale of the Khufu solar boat in this photograph. They built massive, specialized transport vessels like this one to float the 2-ton limestone blocks directly to the construction site, completely bypassing the need to drag them across miles of hot sand. This discovery reveals that the ancient Giza Plateau was actually a bustling, water-fed port city, shifting our understanding of Bronze Age logistics. But bringing the stones to the base still leaves the hardest physical challenge, elevating millions of multi-ton blocks hundreds of feet into the air. Relying entirely on miles-long sand ramps would require more material than the pyramid itself. Engineer John Polipka proposed a different method. His theory suggests the builders weaponized water displacement to handle the vertical lifting. This diagram illustrates the mechanics. By building enclosed, water-filled vertical shafts, the workers could attach heavy stone blocks to wooden floats. As water filled the sealed space, buoyancy naturally pushed the massive stones upward, level by level. To feed this hydraulic system, they used shadoofs, like the traditional water-lifting device seen in this historical photo. These simple, counter-weighted levers allowed workers to rapidly scoop and lift thousands of gallons of water up the tiers of the pyramid. By harnessing the principles of fluid dynamics, the builders replaced brute muscle with elegant engineering, letting water push the stones up against gravity. That level of structural brilliance extends deep into the unseen core of the monument. This presentation screen at Giza details the Scan Pyramids project. Researchers are using cosmic ray muon radiography, a technique that measures subatomic particles falling from space to X-ray the solid stone without drilling a single hole. This 3D wireframe model of the Great Pyramid shows what they found: large-scale, unknown voids hidden deep inside. Arrows show millions of tons of gravitational force pushing down. These voids act as stress relief cavities, deliberately built to divert that crushing weight. To build this, the architects had to possess a highly sophisticated understanding of weight distribution and load-bearing architecture, centuries ahead of their time. Look at this panoramic shot of the three main pyramids. When we step back and view the entire Giza plateau today, it's clear how our methodology for understanding it has evolved from ancient guesswork to hard science. We don't need to look up at the stars or rely on myths of paranormal intervention to explain how these structures got here. The real answer is rooted in the landscape. The Egyptians combined extreme national cooperation with unparalleled civil engineering, mastering the flow of the Nile River. By clearing away the fiction, we reveal the Great Pyramids for what they are, products of human ingenuity, built by a civilization working in unison.